What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So we're actually changing things up, doing a little bit of a review on the Rebel 5 full fat, lactose free, keto, no sugar added ice cream. So I don't know if you guys have tried this. I personally have not. This was going to be an absolute first time for me. I've never really been big on the keto side, so this should be quite interesting. But I was scouring the frozen aisles of Kroger and this one kind of stood out. So we've got salted caramel, and it's always a hard decision when you've got so many different flavors and you're just trying to pick one. I should have probably picked up, I don't know, a few additional flavors, but we're gonna give this a go. So I'm very curious to hear or see how this actually turns out. But in terms of total calories and the macros, per serving, 2/3 cup, 91 grams, we're looking at 190 calories total with 16 grams of fat, along with 19 grams of carbs and 2 grams of protein. So given that a lot of the carbs or the sugars come from sugar alcohols, which is 12 grams, very curious to see how this will actually taste and sit well with my stomach. My stomach does not like sugar alcohols. I will definitely have a hard time probably later tonight. Yummy things come to those who wait. For the creamiest ice cream, let your pint soften for at least 5 to 10 minutes. It has definitely been 5 to 10 minutes. Let's dig in. All right, so right off the bat, you can definitely tell there is a ton of creaminess just looking at the texture off the top of this. I would expect a ton of creaminess, especially with the amount of fat. We've got 16 grams of total fat per serving. Oh yeah, that is buttery. Cheers. There's a little bit of that caramel. So most of this jar, at least up top, is, I would imagine, vanilla. But we got a little bit of the caramel right there. So that first spoonful definitely was filled with a lot of vanilla, very creamy texture and taste. Then you get into the salted caramel and it's almost, for me at least, overpowering almost. It almost doesn't even taste like salted caramel. You get very subtle hints of it, but it kind of leans towards maybe almost like an eggnog type of flavor. But I will say it's very, very rich in terms of the creaminess and the overall texture. If anything, this just tastes like any other real ice cream. So I imagine anyone who is following the keto diet is actually going to really enjoy this one. This really does taste like any other ice cream that you'd find at the grocery market. With 5 grams of total net carbs, this is probably going to sit very well with you. So me, in terms of overall flavor, it's definitely super rich. And I don't know if it's because of the fat or maybe the flavor profile. Halo Top, on the other hand, in terms of like texture, is like tends to be super icy. I don't really ever get the creamy texture that you would get with something like this. And I would imagine just because there's a ton of fat compared to Halo Top. But usually it's like the same amount of volume. Talenti, on the other hand, I don't know if it's just because it's gelato, but to me, it honestly kind of has very similar texture and it's just like regular ice cream. But I could probably eat a whole pint of that and not necessarily get sick. This, on the other hand, just for some reason or another, is just super rich. But this entire pint is supposed to be 5 grams of net carbs. I was totally expecting a lot more like caramel swirls in here, but it's mostly a beige, white, vanilla. Not that it's bad or anything, just from aesthetics. When you take a look at like Breyers or Dreyer's ice cream, usually there's a bunch of different swirls. I think the thing that's throwing me off really is the flavor. I'm expecting salted caramel and I do get hints of it, but it's just not a fully complete flavor profile. If you're just looking for ice cream, then this will definitely satisfy that craving. But for me, in terms of flavor, it's not quite there. I'm just getting kind of a mixed salted caramel / like almost eggnog-y type of flavor. Now, I always wonder what constitutes foods as keto, because I feel like you see it everywhere. You go to any grocery store, any sort of health food, I feel like it's an easy way for companies to just like slap on the logo, keto. It's got high fat. keto, it's supposed to be healthy for you. I don't know. That's my perception of it. I just don't quite understand like what constitutes specific foods to be keto. For some reason, I feel like with ice cream, and it's with very specific flavors or types of ice cream, that there's a certain threshold of just like the enjoyment factor. It'll hit a ceiling, and that's as much as I can take. Let's go in for another bite. I don't know what it is, guys, but every spoonful that I have kind of leaves my mouth coated with, I don't know if it's just extra creamy or a ton of the sugar alcohol is really hitting, but I just feel like there's this coating in my mouth that I can't seem to get away from. So overall, I'm gonna rate this a solid 6. If you guys are huge fans of the keto diet, maybe you guys have already tried this, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts, but that's a Rebel 5 salted caramel.